When it comes to organization, one of the most important rooms in the house to keep organized so that it is functional is the kitchen. The kitchen is used all the time, with people coming in and out, and things going in and out. A disorganized kitchen makes it much more difficult to work in and will likely make it inefficient for you to try to prepare meals. This video will give you tips, tricks and ideas to get and keep your kitchen organized. To get your kitchen organized, create zones and organize around them. Some essential zones to have in your kitchen are a prepping zone, a cooking/baking zone, a food storage zone, and a cleaning zone. When creating these zones in your kitchen, coordinate your countertop space, cabinets and drawers so that all of the items you would need for that zone or activity are there in easy reach. For example, for a coffee/tea zone, you should keep your mugs in the cabinet near the coffee maker and your tea bags and sugar packets in the drawer below. For a baking zone, put your mixer next to your baking supplies cabinet and keep any measuring cups and spoons, wooden spoons, spatulas and whisks in the drawer below. The prepping zone is where you prep all of your ingredients prior to cooking or baking. Choose an area with lots of countertop space and store tools that are used during prep in this area. This could include cutting boards, knives, prep bowls, a trash can, and things like salt and pepper and spices and herbs. The cooking/baking zone is where you do all the cooking or baking. This would of course be the area around the stove and oven, and cooking utensils such as spatulas, wooden spoons and tongs should be within reach to make cooking efficient, as well as items such as cooking oil and salt and pepper. The food storage zone is where you would put away any leftovers after a meal. Items you should keep in this area are Tupperware and food storage containers, Saran wrap and foil, and Ziploc or freezer bags. The cleaning zone is where all the cleaning gets done. Of course, this zone would be where your sink is and should include items like a drying rack, dish detergent, sponges and towels and rubber gloves. Once you have your kitchen zones figured out, sort and categorize your kitchen items and assign them to the appropriate zone. Store similar items together and strategically plan the position and location of items within each cabinet. For example, say you are going to store all of your glasses and mugs in a cabinet. If you drink coffee every day but only have a glass of wine once a month, it would likely be best if you store your coffee mugs up front where they are easy to reach, while your wine glasses get stored in the back. Place your most commonly used plates, bowls and cups on the bottom shelves and store items you only use on special occasions on the higher, less accessible shelves. If you're really short on cabinet space, consider storing infrequently used or seasonal items outside of the kitchen in another storage space. Now that you have figured out where your kitchen items are going to go, here are some tips for organizing your kitchen cabinets. One of the most common problems we all run into is that we don't have enough space in our cabinets. One of the simplest ways to make good use of the cabinet space you do have is to consider rearranging your cabinet shelves if it is possible. Move shelves around to accommodate different size dishes and items, and make use of previously wasted space. Another way to maximize the cabinet space you have is with some creative item arrangement. For example, stemware glasses can be stored by placing every other glass upside down. Nesting bowls and dishes are also a great space saver. While stacking items on top of one another helps make the best use of the space in kitchen cabinets, it can also prove to be inconvenient when you have to move items on the top to get to items on the bottom. For example, to make the most of my cabinet space, I stacked my smaller side plates directly on top of my larger dinner plates. However, every time I wanted to grab a dinner plate, I'd have to move my stack of side plates. It was not convenient at all. A great apparatus that helped eliminate this problem are shelf risers or shelving racks. I use a shelving rack to store my smaller and larger plates so that they are no longer stacked directly on top of each other, and I can easily access them without having to move things around. The racks come in different heights and widths, and they allow various sizes of plates to be stored neatly. If you can't find one that's exactly the right size, that's not a problem. When I got my shelving racks home, I found that my dinner plates were wider than the rack. I couldn't fit my dinner plates under the rack. So I flipped it around and stored my smaller side plates on the bottom and my dinner plates on the top, where the sides of the rack would not restrict the size of the item that could be stored. This item has been a game changer in letting me stack plates vertically and still be able to access plates on the bottom quickly. This problem of not being able to easily access items that are stored together is not limited to dishes. How many times have you struggled to pull out a pan that's in the middle of a pile, or had your entire collection of baking sheets fall out as you try to pull out the one you're wanting to use? Store your pots and pans and lids, cutting boards, serving platters and baking sheets vertically so that you can easily pull out and put away what you need, without having to pull the pile out of the cabinet and go through a stack. This is the same idea as file folding, which I explain in my video on bedroom organization. I will put a link to the video in the description if you are interested to find out more. You can get pot and pan holders or cutting board holders to store your items vertically. An alternative to this is to use tension rods to create slots in a base cabinet to store your baking sheets, muffin tins, and cutting boards vertically. You can now keep everything inside and slip things in and out with ease. Another great use for tension rods in kitchen organization is to hang one horizontally across your under the sink cabinet and then hang your spray bottles by their spray triggers on it. Storing your spray bottles like this frees up the space at the bottom of the cabinet for other items and storage bins. If you have a large number of bottles or heavy ones, you can consider using a screw-mounted rod. An alternative to this hack is to use an over-the-cabinet towel bar. Hang the over-the-door towel bar so the bar is on the inside of the cabinet, and you can hang your cleaning bottles on the bar like the tension rod. And while we're talking about under the sink, I'll slip in one more under the sink storage idea. I store plastic and grocery bags under my kitchen sink and use them as garbage bags. As you can imagine, they amass quickly and it can be tricky to keep them corralled and from taking over the whole under the sink area. I stuff them into empty paper towel rolls to keep them stored compactly. Stuffing them in empty tissue boxes also works. Okay, back to kitchen cabinet organization. Another great item that can help with storage in the kitchen might not come to mind right away when you think of kitchen storage. Magazine holders are often used to store papers and magazines in the office, but it can also be an awesome way to store some kitchen items. Who hasn't had the instance where you open the kitchen cabinet and your reusable water bottles tumble out? Sticking them into a magazine holder is a good way to contain them so they don't roll around. A magazine holder can also help organize your aluminum foil, parchment paper, saran wrap and sandwich bags, and allow you to store them upright. A magazine holder is also useful to help corral those cleaning supplies that you store under the kitchen sink. Lazy Susans are fantastic for helping keep things accessible in kitchen cabinets. Spin the turntable around so you can see and reach the spice you are looking for. Have a corner cabinet that has a hard-to-reach spot? Try using a Lazy Susan to make items stored there easier to get to. Lazy Susans are also useful to corral countertop clutter. Things that we usually keep on the counter like salt and pepper, oils, or items for your morning coffee or tea can be gathered on a Lazy Susan, and since it can be spun, you can stick it in a corner but still be able to easily access all items. Sometimes you don't need the items to be spun. In this case, a tray is a good way to keep things together. When your countertop items are contained on the tray, it will look much neater and also be easier to move out of the way when you need the counter space. It also helps create a boundary so the amount of items on your countertop does not grow out of control. Having said this, the best way to keep your kitchen counters organized is to keep as little on them as possible. Try to store most of your items in drawers, cabinets and shelves. Only keep items you use daily on the countertop. For example, if you drink coffee every day, then the coffee maker should stay on the counter, but appliances that are not used regularly should be stored away. Try to keep your counter storage to the back third of the counter so there is still plenty of space to work. View your kitchen counters as workspace rather than storage space. Now let's look at drawers. Use drawer dividers wherever you can. Drawer dividers keep similar items together, making it easier for you to find what you need. They also keep items from being piled on top of each other and from sliding around in drawers. I have a cutlery tray for my forks, knives and spoons, and then in a separate drawer, I have a drawer organizer for my spatulas, scoops and ladles, tongs and whisk. Using drawer organizers for the inevitable junk drawer that everybody has in their kitchen is essential. The organizers will help you group like items together, helping you see and find what you are looking for, so you don't need to rummage. Label the sections of the drawer so that it is clear where things belong and reminds everyone not to just throw things in, making a mess. Still finding that you don't have enough cabinet and countertop space? Consider getting a rolling kitchen cart. The top provides extra workspace when you're preparing a big meal, and the shelves below provide a storage solution. A wheeled cart will allow you to move it around to suit your needs while you are working, and then away into the corner when you don't need it. A rolling cart can also be useful in the office. Watch my video on office organization to find out how. The link will be in the description. Did you find any of these tips, tricks and ideas useful? Do you have any kitchen organization tips? Share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.